right, good morning, everyone. I wanted to do a couple videos of some of the homework problems. Some of you have already sent me some, and I appreciate that. I will let you know via feedback if you need to change any of the problems, and so we will go from there. I am going to do problems 1 and 3 with you guys today. Remember, you're not doing problem 6, so cross that one out. Oops. Go ahead and cross out problem 6, and then questions 2 and 5. I made a very long video on how to do those kinds of questions yesterday. It was the third video that I sent you, the longest video. If you are confused on where to find that said video, one, check Teams, but also it is one of your video links that you are supposed to watch today. It is the third link. But I would like to do question 1 and 3 with you. That would leave you 2, 4, and 5. Don't worry, tomorrow I'm going to give you some more practice problems, and we are not going to move on from this concept yet, because it is a rather difficult concept. Trust me, it would be just as hard as if we were together in person. So don't feel frustrated. Please try not to feel frustrated if you are not understanding this stuff. It does take lots and lots of practice. But so just like, let me zoom in on this. Just like every other question we have done, we are going to label our 3 sides. So let's always start with that. So remember that the side across from your right angle is your hypotenuse, right? And then because we are still doing 45, 45, 90-degree triangles, then we know that these other 2 sides then are called legs. And the reference triangle is in all 3 of the videos that you should have watched up until this point. So if you're not sure, I do not have that triangle right here with me. So if you are not sure, please be sure to do so. But I have my legs, and my hypotenuse. And based on my reference triangle that I've referred to in the other 3 videos, then I know that the legs are both called x, and my hypotenuse is whatever x is times the square root of 2. And so that is all good. So all we have done so far is we've set up. I haven't really read the problem. I haven't done any math. This is just the standard setup. And now the directions say to find the missing side lengths. Leave your answers as radicals in the simplest form. So we are missing this leg, and we are missing the hypotenuse. The information we are given is that one of the legs is equal to 2 times the square root of 2. Remember, both of my legs are the same length. So for these answers, you should be getting 2 answers. I need to find what B is, and I need to find what A is. The easier one of the 2 is the other leg. I'm telling you that the leg has to be equal to the other leg. If I'm telling you one of the legs is 2 root 2, then this other leg must also be 2 root 2. So B, I'm going to put my answer down here, is equal to 2 root 2. That's one of the answers. I now need to solve for A. So A is a little bit trickier, but it just requires a little bit more math. The hypotenuse is equal to whatever x is times square root of 2. But if we look, my x is over here or here. I give you what x is. X is equal to 2 root 2. Okay? And then I also have to multiply that, though, times the square root of 2. That's where this one comes from, because my hypotenuse is whatever the x is times the square root of 2. Now I just need to do this math. So I remember when we multiply radicals, we multiply the outside with the outside, and then the underneath of the radical with the other thing that's underneath the radical. So there is nothing else outside this radical. So I'm just going to do 2 times an imaginary 1. So 2 times 1 is 2. Move that over there. 2 times 1 is 2. So we just keep that 2 on the outside. And then I have a radical, and I multiply both of the things that are underneath the radical. This 2 right here is underneath the radical, and this 2 right there is underneath the radical. So I'm going to multiply both of those 2 together. 2 times 2. And then we need to clean up underneath the radical. So I'm going to rewrite this 2 over here. And then underneath the radical, 2 times 2 is 4. And then you are almost done, except you need to ask yourself, is this a nice answer? Can I take the square root of 4 and get a nice answer? If you are, some of you may know off the top of your head, and that's awesome if you do. But if not, that's also okay. You have your calculator or your phones at this point. You can, whenever we want to simplify what's underneath the radical, we first need to see if it's a perfect square. So we're going to see if we can put this into our calculator and see if we get a nice answer. So in your calculator, we could do the square root of 4, and your calculator will get that it is equal to 2. So the square root of 4 is equal to 2, and then we need to multiply that by the 2 that was outside here. And then so 2 times 2 is equal to 4. And so my answer for A then is equal to 4. And that's how I get that. That is my answer for the first problem. There are 2 answers for all of these problems. There's 2 sides you need to be finding. Alrighty, so with that being said, I'm going to do question 3 with you all. I apologize, I have not mastered writing small on this, so I apologize that my math is everywhere. But we're going to do question 3. Question 3, again, we are going to start off exactly the same way that we had done before, and we are going to label our sides. So I know, first always start with my hypotenuse. Here is my right angle, so the side across is my hypotenuse. And then that means, just by process of elimination, my other 2 sides need to be my legs. Legs. Alrighty, and then actually, I mean, it's not really plural, but whatever. Those are both legs. And so then I need to label my 3 sides the way my reference triangle tells me. My reference triangle tells me that my 2 legs are the same, and we call that x. And my hypotenuse is whatever x is times the square root of 2. This is just the setup. This is how you set up every problem. I haven't read the question. I haven't done any math. So please make sure you understand how to get to this point. If you do not understand how to get to this point, please rewatch the first video that I posted for you. The setup is the most important part. If your setup is wrong, unfortunately, the rest of the problems would be wrong. But let's just go on. So you need to solve, there's 2 answers again. We need to find this missing side, which is a leg, and the other missing side, which is the hypotenuse. So always start with the other leg. The other leg is the easiest way to go about this. My leg is equal to x. My two legs are equal. I know the length of this leg, though. The length of that leg is 3 root 2 divided by 2. So that must mean that this leg right here is also 3. Oopsie, sorry. This leg right here is also 3 root 2 divided by 2. So y is equal to 3 root 2 divided by 2. My missing side y is the same because it's a leg. It's the same as the other leg I have. And I gave you that this leg is 3 root 2 divided by 2. Alrighty, now I need to solve for x, the side x. The side x right here is my hypotenuse. So based on my rules, my hypotenuse is whatever my x is times the square root of 2. But if you look over here, I told you what x is. X is 3 root 2 divided by 2. And I need to take whatever that is and multiply it by the square root of 2. So remember, just like the problem we did before, we will take this one step at a time. Let's first clean up the 2 numerators. Let's first clean this mess up here. So we are going to multiply the numbers on the outside. So I just have 3 on the outside, so I'm just going to keep that. And then I'm going to multiply my 2 numbers underneath the radical. So I have 2 times 2. And then don't forget, we haven't talked about it yet, but don't forget that that's all divided by 2, this 2 right here. And then I need to clean this up. So I have 3 times the square root of 2 times 2, which is 4. And I'm going to divide that by 2. And then remember, you are asking yourself, hey, can I clean this up? Can I take the square root of 4? And now, based on the other problem or your calculator, you know that 3 times, or the square root of 4 is 2. So we can clean this up. Clean up. And the square root of 4 is 2. So I'm going to have 3 times 2 divided by 2. So this 2 came from the square root of 4, which was over here. Okay, and then now I can clean this up. 3 times 2 is 6, divided by 2 is 3. So all the way over here, I'm so sorry that this is everywhere. I'm just using my finger for these, so I will get a stylus if I can get myself to the store. But then the side x is equal to 3. Those are my 2 answers. So remember, we did all this work to solve for the hypotenuse. So this was my hypotenuse. And the answer, the question says, find the missing sides. And that is what I have done. I would like for you to try the other few problems. When you have finished, please send me a picture. Remember, I am now allowed to assign you grades. And so I will be putting these grades in as you send me pictures. And again, as always, thank you so much for doing the work. It will pay off when we get back and you feel comfortable with the material. I promise we will not go too fast. We will spend the whole rest of the week on this concept. And please let me know how I can support you. Please let me know if there's anything you need, whether it's academic or not. Make sure you go and pick up your meals today. And as always, stay safe out there. I miss you guys as always. And let me know if you have any other questions on this material. Take care.